Hello. Oh, I am all over the place. Okay. I'm gonna do my intro. Oh, no, I'm not. Sarah's already here. All right. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Let's see here. Start video. Ah, there we
Oh,
go.
hi.
Hello. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
Oh my God. I feel like I know you already, but I know I don't. I don't even know a fraction of it, obviously, based on our conversation we had like 2 days ago. I'm like, what? You
Yes.
do that too? So stoked. I mean, all of it. So cool. Okay. So
Oh,
yeah,
thanks
let's
for
start
having
there.
me.
I'm so glad to have you. Let's start there though. Like you're so interesting, you're so dynamic. Tell the audience who doesn't know anything maybe about you, to like, spark those. Maybe we'll start there.
Yeah. Well, I do many things. I would say my main gigs are music, so I play saxophone, and then making art, so painter, so teaching art, teaching lessons, making commissioned art, and then on top of that, I also have some ambassador or influencer campaigns. I have ghost tours. Um, and I think that pretty much covers it. Dog mom.
Yeah, I mean, ghost tours. I want to go back to. I know this is women, wine, and song, but that's just cool for me to, pass up. But anyway, what are you? I haven't like snooped on your Facebook or anything. Usually I do that to like kind of see who I'm working with, but I know your personality via Betches, right?
Yes,
And
yep.
so I didn't do like research because I know who you are at least, but I don't know what projects you're involved with. Are you like in a band specifically? You play sax, right?
I play sax.
So,
Yep. Well, before COVID, I was running around with probably about 17 different bands, give or take. Yeah, at any given time, I was a busy girl. Honestly, I look back now and I'm like, how the hell did I do that?
seriously, that's
It's
bonkers. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And now it's been whittled down to I'm probably about 5 or 6 bands now. And then I also get hired for off projects like, hey, I need a sax solo in this song. I just did back in 2020, I did um a meditation or relaxation app. So have you seen those before?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I did the background music for that. So it's
that's
just on a
rad.
minute loop and you just watch this little ocean scene and then I play this like really ambient, slow ballady kind of song, which is super cool. So yeah, and then
So cool.
I do that. I was like, hey, nice to meet you, and never see these people again. So there's like,
Yeah.
very committed member of a band all the way to one time only.
Yeah, that's
So
really cool. That's really, really cool. Now I'm like, what? Gosh, you're like slowly becoming my idol. That's such a nerdy thing, but
oh,
like,
you're so
I mean,
sweet.
just like having, and I'm like a hot mess. I don't know. I'm like, I keep seeing myself in the camera, like, holy shit. But
I think you're adorable.
it is what it is. But I like everything I've seen so far. I'm just like, you do that too? What? That's amazing too. And this too. And like like a meditation, you're involved with a meditation thing. That's fucking
Yeah,
rad.
it's
Like
co-
whether
you
or not you
know,
meditate, that's so cool. That's so cool to be
I
involved.
and I agree, and I don't, but I probably should. But and it's on Google Play, so you can find it on
Yeah.
a pretty big platform, which is super cool. It's called Recurring for those who are interested.
Yeah.
You just look it up and you can find it. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I see myself almost on the outside sometimes, and I don't. It's not like I set out to do these things. I just find these things that I'm like, oh, I happen to be good at this, and it's
Yeah.
fun for me too. And then I just kind of pursue that. It's kind of a weird thing, but yeah, I didn't like sit down one day and be like, I'm gonna be this person who does all these things. I just
Right.
ended up that way. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's kind of a weird situation.
Hey, I love it. I feel that's like kind of me, although like that's where the whole like idol part comes in because I fucking love music and art, but I have never exceeded at either of these things, right? So like I'm just like, oh, and you play music and you, yeah, and you paint. God, that's so cool. I get
Oh, you're
so
so
excited.
sweet. You know, honestly, it's a practice skill, all of it. So the
Yeah,
more
you
you do
put
it,
the
the
work
better you
in.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I actually, a lot of people are like, how did you do that? And where did you find the time? And I just kind of grew up, kind of a dorky girl. And I didn't have,
I'm a dork too.
yeah, like I was a total dork and I just trapped myself in my room and learned how to paint and draw and just kind of force myself to figure out how to make it look like the thing. And then here we are. And now I just do it to pay my bills, which I love. It's
Yeah,
great.
that's so
It's
cool. Um,
it feels like I never work. You know what
right.
I mean?
You do what you love. That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. It sounds like you're totally following your bliss, and that's exactly how it should be, right?
Yep.
That's the key to living a happy life is doing what
I
you want,
completely agree.
doing what you want and when you want, and no one can tell you otherwise. I love it. That's so fucking cool.
100% agree. So tell me about this podcast. I poked around after you made that post and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Where did you come up with this idea and how long you been doing it?
So I got hired on with Loose Leaf last January. I had my baby in February and then everything shut down. Like I had him
Yep.
2 days. Well, there was 2 days left of February, right? So like basically March, like the beginning of the shit show, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And so then everything shut down and so I didn't have anything like I'm not managing anyone. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Yep.
I'm supposed to be doing. But then like my local band, the one that I was going to be managing originally, I mean I am, but like everything was shut down for so long that I didn't do anything, right? And so like 3 months went by or something like that. And like George Floyd was murdered and like
Mm,
all that. And then all the Base Nectar stuff started coming out too at the
yeah.
same time. And so
Yeah.
like now it feels much calmer and I think that a lot of that has to do with like an election being behind us and like
Yes.
whatever, but you know that summer last 2020 was very tumultuous the whole year, but this summer like it was like more emotional. I felt like I for me
Mm-hmm.
anyway, like as far as like our social climate generally. I'm just like,
Yeah.
no one knows how to talk to each other. Like, people can't just have opposing views now. Like, of course, absolutely, it's never okay to be violent or to, say things
Racist
that,
or,
yeah, exactly.
yep, totally.
But like any other conversation we should be able to have, right? Without
Totes.
screaming at each other or, you know, using names and all that, like calling each other names and shit. Like I had
Yeah, I don't
a
believe in
friend
that.
call my mom a bootlicker, and I'm just like, are you
Oh my God.
like a friend? Like a friend, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, that's not okay ever. That's not okay. Like that's
Yeah,
not
it's just not
how
okay.
you get your point across. And I understand that she has a very, very different point of view, than some trustafarian, Denver bro that like, think he's gonna change my Indiana mom's mind. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, totally.
she's not, I mean, she is what she is, but like you don't have to call your friend's mother a bootlicker ever. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like that is,
Yeah.
why would you do that ever? And it's just like the whole like it's in a public forum. So now my whole family sees it. Like there would
Yeah.
be like shows and festivals and stuff we could go to, and I would love to I love bringing my friends back because it's like summer camp, for instance. It's so close that I'm like, why I would love to be able to like go to summer camp and have everyone come back and have a place to stay and like rest before driving back to Colorado, but like that's not an option anymore because I
Yeah.
feel disrespected, you know what I mean? So anyway, that was way off subject, but just people can't talk to each other, right? And I also felt like, so the Base Nectar stuff was going on and it was like women need to be able to have these conversations and we need to be able to seek out when people are being dishonest or like maybe being too harsh on the dude. You know what I mean? Because there are absolutely people who cry wolf and I've just witnessed it. So I'm not gonna, I can't act like that's not a thing. I don't think that's a common thing, but I do know
Right.
that it happens, so we need to be able to have those conversations and like be as fair as possible. And we can't do that if we're afraid to talk to each other about things.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with everything, it's not just the single isolated event. There's typically a history and a pattern. And
Yeah.
so all you have to do is ask around a little bit and figure it out,
Yeah.
as far as what you were just talking about with
Yeah.
all that stuff, abuse allegations or sexual assault, whatever.
Yeah.
It's, in my experience, you just look around a little bit, turns out, oh yeah, years ago this happened and these people have a past, so it's like,
Oh,
okay, well
absolutely.
then pattern behavior, like,
Yeah.
and personally, I have my personal preferences and I'm in my boundaries, and I am a zero tolerance policy girl.
Yeah.
So I will not, I will look around, I will do my research, and if I find out that is the case, like, I will not work with you, I will not.
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely. If
know
someone's abusive, like that absolutely, like I said, is never okay, right? Whether it's racist,
yep.
sexist, like homophobic, it doesn't, I don't, transphobic, there's just so many things people can be hateful about. And like, that's never okay. You can't just hate a
Yeah.
person because they're this way or that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know what direction to go with this. I'm like,
Yeah, well, it's a thing that is a problem. And my friend just posted something the other day. Is super good guitar mandolin player, and he's just like, where's the line, basically.
yeah.
And
Well,
there
isn't
can
one.
be.
I mean, is
But there should be.
there
Yes,
should
there should
be,
be.
but
They're just like you said. Just like you said. No racist, no transphobic,
absolutely.
no abuse, like
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Because again, like that one woman comes out, turns out 20 others have the bravery to
Absolutely.
be like, oh my God, that happened to me too. Because it only takes one
Absolutely.
person to stand up.
Now,
And then people do that.
yeah. Well, I'm
You know?
curious, do you think that like after certain reparations are made that it's bridgeable, or like, where do we go after that, I guess is my question. Like
Yeah.
after these people get canceled or whatever, are
I
they
think
able to learn and grow? You know what I mean? Like that's when I like where is it that these men or women, whoever's being abusive or hateful or whatever it is, like
yeah.
how do we get them the healing and help that they need without being coddling, but also knowing that they probably have some traumatic ass shit that happened to them that led them, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
or they never learned. I don't know how you could be that ignorant in this day and age. Like, ignorance is a choice at this point with how much.
Totally.
It's just like, do you expect that of everyone? No, because not everyone was able to get an education. Not everyone even had that in their lives from childhood. You know what I mean? So it's like every case is different. And now you're back to like, it's all gray. You have to look at every case individually, which is kind of, but this has nothing really to do with any of that. It was more like, I want to highlight people who normally don't get the spotlight. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
in life in general, right? Like I know that, like, for instance, in one facet of my life, motherhood, no one notices the shit you're doing to keep things running from the inside.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
totally. There's like a Disneyland effect where you have the facade and then the like what's going on behind the scenes is like way different.
Yeah, like to where, like, if my husband comes at me, like he thinks I have had any time to like even sit down. I'm like, hold on, just because you're at work doesn't mean I'm not at work too. Watch it. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I read an article. Oh God, it was a long time ago. I think it was like a couple years ago, but it basically monetized the work that a mother does. Not only it broke it down in hours, and it broke it down by the average salary for that job. So it was like cook, therapist, cleaning woman, all like basically all of the driver,
like timing stuff,
exactly,
what I mean?
the whole thing. And it ended up being like $120,000 a year or something. Like if you guys got paid to do what you do, I was like, what? That is, I mean, of course it's believable, but
It's
Seriously?
bonkers. It's ridiculous, let me tell you. And it's not something to be spiteful about. I think that's why men and women are different. Like they are different. They think like once you have kids, you like think their brain's gonna change to like be this dad thing, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just like okay.
Oh.
Uh, but I feel like okay, so that happens throughout. It doesn't matter what industry you're talking about. I just happen to, relate to that one strongest probably right now in my life. And so the music industry is a huge culprit for that, right? Where like
Right.
women are like the inner working. I mean, I'm talking down to like at the venue, the servers and the bartenders even are
And
usually
the merch people.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So in the tickets and then you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like so
Totally.
that's why I have brought you here, right? Because I'm not a musician, but I am a music enthusiast.
And you're in the industry, you manage bands.
Yeah.
So you're in the scene. You're in the definitely. What band do you manage, by the way?
Amorphic.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know them?
Yeah, totally.
They're my dudes. I love
Yeah,
them.
those guys are so great. They're
Yeah,
so
they're
great.
homies.
They are the best.
I have so many things happening in my brain as far as like sweet collabs that can happen in the future now that I've met more people through this, which
Oh
that's
yeah.
what it's turned into, right? So you asked me about the show and I told you way too much about the front hand, but like the cooler part is like the middle was like me buffing it out and talking to women about how like their triumphs, traumas, and or like their stories of their evolution in the music community. So like whatever topic would strike your interest out of those things, I want to go with you there. I just want you to be able to talk about what you want to talk about, right? And
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm not very good at this game.
I'm
I
not
get
either.
this a lot. And it's like, talk
And
about
we just
whatever you want. I'm
covered
like,
so much of
no.
that. Like just in that
Right.
little bit, there was so much of that covered. And
Yeah.
I had something that that's what it has become now though. Like that was the middle phase, right? And like now it's not even that anymore. It's more become my outlet to like meet new people because we don't
That's cool. Yeah, yeah, right. So it's just like, well, I guess I'm
live
just gonna
music so
communicate.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to people somehow, I suppose, because this is crazy.
Well,
Well,
I
it's
love it.
especially desperate times because I'm here with like a 12-year-old who's homeschooling and an 11-month-old, and just like I don't know how to do anything in a pandemic. You know what I mean? I'm just like sitting here like, let's okay, let's press play again. I called it 20. I said it's 2020 like a couple days ago, and one of the person I was talking to was like, it's 2021.
No.
Like, that year went by, didn't it?
Sure did, man. I don't even know what day it is half the time anymore. I do way less and I'm so tired and just,
Mhm.
man. So we just talked about traumas.
Mhm.
That was that, all that stuff, those allegations, the pandemic. It's mostly really killed my motivation. And, I just I don't know. I've been more drawn to fundraising lately. That whole year 2020, I did a lot of it. I did a lot
Yeah.
of playing and then donating my money to a lot of different places like Black Lives Matter and human rights campaign, that kind of stuff. And I actually did a thing. I don't know. I get in so many stupid arguments with people who are just straight up racist or whatever. And they don't
Right.
want to do that. So they try to debate with me. And I don't put up with name calling or any kind of rude, crass. Like, I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in yelling. I don't believe in any of that stuff. So
Yeah,
I just shut it down. But if people want to have a discussion, sure.
absolutely.
Everyone who knows me knows that I need like evidence-based articles from a reputable source. So like, don't come at me with your anecdotal opinion because this won't happen to you, that kind of stuff. So I decided to start a thing where I was basically calling it getting trolled for what did I call it?
I
It was so
remember.
cute.
I know
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you would donate a certain amount for every, right? Like negative
Yeah, yep.
comments or something like that. Was it
Yeah, it was,
or, like
I announced that I was going to do that. And then this lady came out of nowhere and started in with like, how many African Americans do you know? And all these things. And turns out she's super racist and yeah, she just, so I'm just like donating Black Lives Matter. I had people
yeah.
donating to me to donate to
Yeah,
things. Like,
that was
it's
so
just,
cool.
it turned into this 2-day long event, and I mean everyone piped in. I was just, yeah,
That
it
was
was
hilarious and
it
awesome.
was pretty good. It was pretty, I don't know, isn't it weird though, what we find ourselves doing with the extra time is
Oh,
just kind of
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
um
I'm
but
taking singing lessons and I took a songwriting lesson from Mike Ganser of Aqueous because I'm just
oh,
like,
that's great.
do something. I don't
That's
know.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just for fun, like I
Yeah.
think I learn more to like I give myself the space to learn when it's just for fun versus like
Yeah.
I don't know why I get myself in the mindset of like this is some grand performance and I have to do perfect and it's like what that's never it's just silly but
Yeah.
getting past it.
It's, you just keep on practicing and you'll be there in no time.
Right, I
That's
mean
pretty
it's
much the name of the
yeah,
game.
yeah, and it's fun and that's kind of what's happened here, right? Like when I started the show that like I didn't even know how to record on Zoom. Like the world just
Yeah.
shut down. I hadn't used these apps or anything. I had to my first interview was the owner of the Mish, my boss, right? Like
Yeah.
and she she was like, "Yeah, I'll be your guinea pig." And she like recorded it for me and sent it to me because I didn't know what I was doing. It's just like
That's cute.
me talking on YouTube. And it's fine. It was still video and everything, so it was nice. But even the video layout on Zoom itself changed, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's it's interesting because I'm not even controlling some of the changes and it's like it impacts the video, right? And so
Totally.
I don't
Totally.
know. I don't know why I'm rambling about how this show has morphed so much. It's just funny to because especially knowing that I'm talking to I hate saying interviewing because I'm not. I'm
We're just chatting. Yeah.
shooting this shit basically because
Totally.
like I've talked about horoscopes on the show before and like
Nice.
silly witchy shit. I don't know. It's just like random
Yeah.
shit comes up.
Love all that stuff.
Yeah. But I just distracted myself because I feel like you're. Oh no, inked, inked. You didn't talk about inked at all.
Oh, inked. Oh my God. So I got reached out through Instagram. They were like, "Hey, we're doing this cover girl contest. Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So I've been doing it for, I think this is my third week. And I'm in first in my group, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And if I win, I can get $25,000.
What?
Yeah, which is pretty
That's
cool.
dope.
And get the cover girl thing. And I would totally use that. I would just like sprinkle it all over Denver because,
That's
so many venues need it. And I'm
yeah.
concerned about, just what kind of world we're going to come out of this to.
Yeah.
And I want to support, these places that have paid me all these years. I mean, after 10 years in the industry, it's like, man, I feel obligated to give back, I really do.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I am
It's
stoked.
just,
I've been
yeah.
voting every day. I have every
Oh, I
day
really appreciate that.
every day that you put the reminder up. I forget.
Oh yeah, I need to keep on that. I even forget sometimes. It's been a long, and it's going to keep going because I'm in first, so they're whittling it down
Yeah.
like they did top 15, top 10, which is now we're going to go to top 5, and then it's like semifinals, finals, and then the actual winner. So it's going to be, man, I hope people aren't annoyed because it's going to be a while. Sorry guys.
I think
I'm gonna
they're
be
invested.
posting. Oh, I hope so. I hope so. But it's been pretty fun. I mean, I don't know. I'm part of these groups now that are like, oh, inked girls, like cover girls, and I don't know. They seem like cool people. A lot of like vet techs and EMTs and just like lady heroes.
Mhm.
So that's cool. I like
I
that
think
part.
my girlfriend is in there too. I think she just got back on Facebook to like get people to vote.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
But because she hasn't been on for a long time, but I can't. She doesn't do the reminders, so then I'm like, I don't know how to find where you're at. But she's an interpreter. She does ASL. So
See,
and she wants to
that's
do,
awesome.
yeah, and she wants to do them at concerts and stuff, which I just am like, you're so cool. Because
I love
she's a
that.
music enthusiast too. So she just like wants to be at shows all the time. She's my show buddy when she's not like in school or working, you know, or
Right.
she interprets AA meetings too. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
pretty neat stuff.
Super
So
cool.
you're in good company, I think. There's a lot of cool
Yeah,
people in there.
there are a lot of cool people. I was browsing a bit, and I was just like, well, this is awesome. I mean, this money would be good use to anybody who's in the competition, it seems like.
No kidding. Well,
But it'd be
then
super cool.
that I support you wanting to help the venue and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah,
you already lost Hody's up here, and I know a few places in Denver, right?
that was a
So,
tough one.
yeah.
Hody's was a tough one, and the Peck was a tough. That was a tough one. And what else? God, there was another one that was Live at Jack's. That was a really tough one.
Yeah.
That place. Oh, I love that place so much.
Damn, I haven't got there yet.
Really? So they did a lot of have you heard of Dot Zero?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dot Zero was like basically their house band. I mean, they were there
cool.
regularly, and then Jessica Jones had her thing
Nice.
on Wednesdays, I believe it was. But I mean, I've seen some of like the best R&B and soul, and just people I'm never exposed to at that place.
Yeah, that's so cool. I just
Yep.
I just heard of Afrobeat. I didn't know that genre. And then Leah Concialdi.
Yeah.
And I talked to her a week or two ago, and she like got me on it. And my husband and I have been listening to it nonstop. You know, like we both really enjoy it. It's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that stuff's awesome.
So you got to send me all the links for all your music so I can blow it up. Is it on
For sure.
Spotify?
I do. I have like a whole playlist that just kind of, because it's got all my bands.
Yeah.
It goes all, I mean, I go all over the place. I got stuff that's like Americana. I got like heavy electronic stuff on there. The lighter stuff that I do with my band, Sarah Mountain the Rushmores. It's like funk, like light funk, basically. That kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll make sure to send it to you for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have a Spotify playlist that I started, and it's all the women that have bands that have been on the show. Like,
that's awesome.
I don't only have musicians on the show, but yeah, the ones that have bands out, like, have a playlist with all their stuff. So look at that too, because this is solid.
For sure. For sure.
It's really
definitely
cool. It's really cool. I don't know if you've heard of Stella Luce. They were based out of Fort Collins. They're not a band anymore. Now it's two of them are a couple now, and they're called Vivian, and they're a couple, and they have their duo, and it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But, now I don't know why I was thinking of them. Oh, they're one of the bands. So it's very different, like, because
very cool.
It's all over the place. You know, the playlist itself is all over the place because just all totally, like you said, Americana is on there too, and then Afrobeat and all kinds of punk. What was it? Ska punk and
nice
ghost and stuff. I'm like, this is really neat. I'm digging
This is an actual legit playlist. I love stuff like that though. That's just got the whole range. That's awesome.
I mean, that's always who I've been, right? Like that's why I relate to what you were saying about like Jill, Jane of all trades, right? Like you.
Yep.
I mean, you seem to be a master of quite a few, but
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to. Do you know what I mean? That it's hard to objectively judge yourself, and
we shouldn't.
And really. Yeah, exactly. You know, I have a style, and there are a lot of wonderful sax players, musicians in general, but sax players in Denver, in Boulder. And you know, if my style's not for them, please hire my friends. Yeah, like there's so many amazing sax players, and honestly, like I feel sometimes inadequate, but people keep calling, and I keep saying yes, and the world goes round, and that's pretty much how I'm going to do it until those calls stop.
Yeah,
which might happen one day. It might not. I would love to do this forever, but you know, I'm realistic as far as like, someone, you know. Who knows? I'm all here for it. Like I'm there. So
you're only gonna get better at all of the things that you do. So like,
well, I guess I never thought of it that way, but that's true. The more you do, the better you get, just like I said earlier. Yeah, I know. I've just been doing scale work for like months, so I feel I don't know. I just started booking shows in March, basically. So I'm playing shows live again in March, starting in March.
Right.
I was pretty uncomfortable with how November and December was. It was pretty like bleak there for a while. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not. I had a couple live streams that were really cool. I did like a birthday, basically like a virtual telegram. It's like I videotape myself doing a couple songs, like birthday song and all that. But yeah, nothing live or in person since September.
Yeah.
So yep. So March, I got a bunch of shows coming up. And then it's starting in May. I've got this new band I'm with, and it's a wedding band basically. And we are like, man, we are booked.
I bet.
Just so many gigs on the horizon.
Weddings.
Pretty much between vaccinations. I mean, cases are going down. There's a downward trajectory. I just read an article today about how the vaccines are starting to see that enough people are getting vaccinated, because now more people are vaccinated than have COVID.
Oh, nice.
So it's starting they're starting to see that is having an effect.
Yeah, that's
great. I'm feeling more comfy.
Yeah.
I just started work again, teaching sipping and painting classes at
I want to go.
Please do. I have a studio that I work at. It's like me and two other artists who work there. And it's right across from Regis. So it's like 49th and Lowell.
Okay.
And it's called Sipping and Painting. And yeah, so we're doing mostly evenings. We do Saturday mimosa classes and then Sunday as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm back at work, mask up, come paint.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of making me feel less depressed. But yeah, man, November and December was tough. That was a tough one.
Dude, Umphreys is playing tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, and they're like my favorite band of all time, right? And so I've been like super nostalgic this week. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm like, oh, it's been a solid minute since I've been to any, because Amorphic was supposed to play a private show at a house, like a block party thing.
Yep.
Not block party, but a curbside concert or whatever.
Yep.
In October, and that got canceled just because we were like, the weather's not good enough and cases are going up,
yeah, it's getting ugly.
And then November they were supposed to play at the Aggie, and then that got postponed. So like it's like you said, since September since I've been to a show, and I went to 40 shows when I was pregnant with my baby. So
oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm missing it. It's so nice to feel live music, because it's vibrations. That's what music is. That's all it is. It's a sound. It's a sound wave. It's the sound of a wavy,
Yeah.
And you can feel it, and it's just not the same. I mean, it's just not the same.
And so I'm just like, I'm excited.
Yep, I'm excited too. It's definitely, there's light at the end of the tunnel for sure, and I'm feeling super, super optimistic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had the same thing actually. It was December last year. I played with Joel and
nice.
with Marcus. Yeah, with one of his, and like, so we played together. He's the nicest guy ever. And I was like, Joel Cummins. Yeah.
Oh, Joel.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Joe Marcinek for a second, but Joel.
Oh no. Yeah,
Joel Cummins is the kindest. He's the
sweetest guy, and obviously like so good. Just
wait, when did you play with them? When was it?
God, it was December. I want to say 17th or something. It was with Marcus.
Okay.
Marcus is with you guys too, with Loose Leaf.
Yeah.
And he had God, who did he have? He had I don't remember the lineup. I literally have the picture in my phone.
Well, and with him, it's always changing, I was just wondering, I couldn't remember what month you said, because that was the solo show I didn't go to, in 2019 going into 2020? Is that?
I think so, yeah, yep. I literally have the picture on my phone.
They played in the summer too. So I was wondering if you were there when they played at Ophelia's.
No, I wasn't there for that one. I was there for There it is.
Not oh, nice. Yes, that's
Yeah.
so
So
cool.
what was that? That was December 28th, 2019.
Yeah, so like the New Year's run. That makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Jay Berwick was on bass.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
from Rack.
yeah.
I've worked with him before, so it was super nice to work with him again too.
Okay.
He's so great. He's the sweetest guy, and we have so much fun.
That's
But we
awesome.
used to be in a reggae band together regularly, but I didn't have time for them and had to find my way out. And they got a new sax player, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But that was a highlight. Talking about triumphs, right? That was the highlight of my life. You know, there are those shows where you're just like,
This is so
that's
cool.
it. That's it. Yep. You can feel how cool it is, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh man, I'm doing something big here
Yeah.
right now.
I love
So
that.
that was great. Yeah. And then I met Emily. That was the last show I played. I met Emily at Groove Safe,
Oh,
Cervantes.
yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Ashley is awesome. The whole program is awesome. I love that.
Yep. I loved it. It was so much fun. Yeah, but we had like, I don't know, 10 lady singers up there with Jessica Jones was leading it. And Chuck from Lotus was on hand percussion, and oh my God, I love Lotus.
Yeah.
I was like snowboarding to them in my 20s, and I was obsessed with them. So that was another like
Yeah.
big moment for me, just looking over me like, it's one of my heroes over there. I'm on stage with them. You know, it's just one of those pinch me moments that I will cherish forever. And that was actually the last show I played
Really?
too. Yeah, before COVID.
That's
Yeah.
a good one to start your hiatus on, I suppose.
Yes, it definitely was. Andy Frasco jumped on stage.
Shut up.
No, he totally did. He was out there, and oh, we were all just like, is that Andy Frasco? And then he jumped on stage and like led a jam, and we all just went to weird places, and it was so much fun. It was just like the best show. It was just the greatest. That's how I met Emily. Yeah, and then
cool.
we've been in contact.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
She does
Jessica too.
Oh, good. Yeah, she's someone to interview for sure. She's like queen of the scene, man.
Nice.
For sure. Yep.
I've never
hands down.
That was the one cool thing. Not one cool thing. There was so many cool things about making one post. Like my goal. Okay, that's the cool thing. My goal for January was to interview 2 women I've never met before, because the only people I had talked to so far I had known, right?
Yeah.
And I got 80 women tagged.
Get it
within like 2 hours.
That's amazing. So you just have a list. You're just like crossing it off. Well, oh my God, I love it.
Everyone up, you know, and I have interviews from that, just hitting everyone up that one time. I'm still interviewing through March, right? So like it's bonkers. And then I could go back and like try and get in touch with the people that I haven't heard, you know what I mean? But
yep.
Bonkers. And like
that's
Jessica
so cool.
Jones on there, and like Emily recommended a few, obviously, but like Joe Marsnick, I don't know if you've ever met him, but I
don't think I've met him. Obviously I know who that is, but I've never met him.
I don't know, but he tagged like 40 women. And I was like, that is so cool that you just did that. I mean,
I love that.
Talk to us like, he's so sweet. That's why I thought you said Joe at first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And the Zoom kind of like cuts off the end of your words sometimes.
I'm the worst too, because I get excited and then I cut.
I do too.
All the time.
I do too. I get eager to answer. I'm just so excited all the time about this stuff, but it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're like relating and you're like, I am such a nerd and you get me, kind of.
Yep, I do. Because I'm also a nerd. I definitely am. That's for sure.
I was thinking that today. I was like, maybe I'm not a nerd. Maybe I am just a dork. Because that was literally one of my best friends in middle school. I don't talk to her very much anymore, but she lives in Denver actually now. But anyway, we call each other dork. Like that was our nickname for each other, because we both thought we were dorks, and like, you know, there's a lot of cool girls from school on our team and everything. Works. And so I just lost the back of my earrings. I'm fidgeting.
Oh yeah, no.
So it was like, maybe I need to stop calling myself a nerd and start calling myself a dork again instead, you know? And then that was funny because you said dork like immediately, and I was like, yes, me too.
I'm such a dork. I mean, I'm telling you, I was in marching band, you know, in high
Yeah.
school, the
I
whole
mean, I
thing.
wasn't, but I dated a sax player in high school who was
Nice.
in
There
marching
you go.
bands.
He was in marching band. That was the thing. And oh, I got made fun of so hard. I was in marching band in the age of American Pie.
Oh God.
Remember
That
what
one
have
time
you
at
seen
band camp.
that? Yep. That right there. So it was a bit torturous,
Yeah.
but you know,
So
it's
we're
cool
probably
now.
close to the same age, I bet. I'm gonna be 33 in May.
I mean, you're pretty young. I'm gonna be 37 in April.
Hey, so we're close.
Yeah, we're close. We're totally close. Even though I like to squeeze every last year out,
I
like
mean, I
after
get
a
it.
certain point.
But I also do feel like I level up every year. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
I
yeah,
do
for
feel
sure.
like I like feeling that like I know I improved. I mean, I hope. I hope it stays like that. I don't know. I don't want to stagnate ever, And it seems like you
Yeah,
don't either. Like that's why you have a lot of things going on. You can't ever stagnate.
yeah. No, definitely not as far as like experience and doing things. Sometimes I feel like personally, like this year was really hard for me to do the inner work because
Yeah.
we can't be on this planet without going through some sort of damage or trauma.
Right.
The induced trauma is wrong. We've already talked about why and how and all that stuff, but it's up to us to figure that out. And I honestly think like your grace period after you're 25, like you should probably start thinking about being an impactful human in a positive way on this planet to the people you love, to strangers you encounter, random, you just, if we all have that, just that very base thing, just like, okay, I just want to be better than yesterday,
Mhm.
I feel like this world would be a different place.
Absolutely.
But that was tough for me this year to work on that type stuff. It was just mostly like maintaining, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when everything that you're used to and that you like I have noticed this week for me anyway that like that is my release. Like I know I can watch my husband like hit the mountain for 2 hours and just be like, "Woo," you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
good
Yep.
good to go, like his stress is gone, whatever. And that skiing doesn't do that for me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I go because he loves it and it's exercise and I get to see pretty stuff and
Yeah. It's
my
fun,
family
Yeah.
together. It's fun enough, right? But that is definitely not my, those are not my cathartic moments. You know what
Right.
I mean? It's not like Humphreys dumping down rain on me at the end of June at Red Rocks and like we live in a desert.
Yeah.
And it's just like dumping, like just and it was that specific moment was when Jeff Austin like was, he was dying and he's Bayless's best friend. So like I'm just there with my best friends, just like imagining losing any of, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't get that, right? Like
Yeah.
when you don't get that, life is considerably worse.
Yes. Yes. It definitely is. Yes. You literally covered all of it, Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so like, and I know that sounds fucking whiny, right? When like people are dying, right? But
You're
like
still
people
valid.
people are dying because they're depressed. People are
That's true
also
too.
dying because they're overdosing because they're at home and don't have their normal outlet or their normal support system or what, you know what I mean? It's just like yes, your fears are valid, but my fear, like
Oh,
my fears
man.
are also valid. You know what I mean?
I
So,
would say so. Maybe not in the same way or on the
right,
same level, but
right,
definitely
yeah,
valid. And
yeah,
even that validation helps kind of like, okay, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that helps too because you're not, and people are not crazy, and people are committing suicide at a higher rate. And alcohol drinking is up 40% or something like this,
absolutely,
like insane shit.
yeah, yeah,
And those are all definitely side effects of just being
being fucked
trapped.
up.
Yep. And like it's not like we have a choice with that either. I think honestly, if say anybody but Trump was president during the pandemic, it would have, I don't think we'd be here. I mean, I'm watching stuff on Instagram in, Asia, everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
And it's because they
Yeah.
had very strict masks, and they did it right away. And they
Yeah.
had like
They were on one page.
everybody was
It's
on
like,
one page. Exactly.
where are we at now? What, like, you don't know the regulations anywhere you go. There's
Exactly.
not like a consensus on anything, and then like we're all just lost, like doing the best we can, but then fighting with each other too, because some people think they know and other people think they know, but it's the opposite, and it's like,
Yep.
this isn't working.
Yeah.
Back. I don't care if I have to wear a mask at the show for the rest of my life. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
I don't give a fuck. I just want to be there.
Yep,
I made a post today, like, I want both of my sanitized hands on the rail.
I will do it every 10 seconds. I do not care. Bathe me in it. Yeah. Oh, me and my boyfriend talk about that a lot, of like, how is it going to be, and what do we think is how's it going to be handled? Do we think that it's going to be where you have to prove that you're vaccinated, or what kind of, who knows?
I'm buying land, so I can invite whoever I want and have my rules that I'm comfortable with.
And just do, yep.
Yeah. And whoever wants to come, who's comfortable with my rules, can come. And if you don't like it, then don't come, I guess. But like, I will not give Ticketmaster a 75% add-on to my ticket to have to be vaccinated and checked. And I'm not anti-vax. I'm just saying, like, it's my body, my right. Don't anyone ever think you can have it twisted and tell me what to put in my body. It's just not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when I know I had it, but I didn't get tested because it was March. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
the antibodies I've read don't like stick around your body, and it doesn't mean that you're not immune. It just means that it's low levels and they can't, whatever. Either way, never been a point for me to get the test, right? So like, I don't know if I had it really, but I for sure had it. I for sure had it. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
totally.
I'm gonna get a vaccine when I already had the thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a weirdo though, I guess too. I'm not a weirdo.
Yeah.
I just I'm like, everything is gray. I'm not trying to be on either extreme end, right? Like and I'm just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
I can go into black and white, mostly in the grays. I'm very science driven, very, very science driven. Absolutely. So like, if it's been backed by science for like thousands of years, like gravity, pretty black on that, black and white on that. Like that's a thing. You know what I mean? But stuff where you can. We don't know enough. Yeah, like this is gray. Yeah.
I would rather, since I know there's never going to be enough vaccinations for every single person to have one, right? I would rather the people who super duper want them get them first.
Oh, for sure. I'm like way low on the list too. I'm general public.
Yeah.
I'm not even an essential worker or anything.
Right.
So totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Just please take it, do it, and then later on, if I still need to keep the population safe somehow, if it really is relying on me after this, then okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's fine. But
see, that's sensible.
There's not, if there's not enough for everyone to begin with, and it's something that makes me uncomfortable because it's so new, and like, I know everyone in the world was working on it, and that's why it went through like that. You know what I mean? Like, when you have all the smartest people working on it at the same time, you can get it done faster,
Totally. Well, and it's the same vaccine. It's like, so vaccines are typically they send a message to your RNA, so it's not your DNA,
right?
It's another part of that structure, and it sends the message to your antibodies and to your your white blood cells and all these things that hey, fight this virus, by introducing it to that part of your makeup, your molecular makeup. So the vaccine part's been around since fucking forever. I mean, I think the first vaccinations were like late 1800s, but the message is different.
Yeah.
So as far as like side effects and stuff like that, I'm pretty confident because most of the vaccine has been around since forever. It's just the message that's changed. But still, And also mostly the people who need it like most
Yeah,
need to get it. You know,
exactly.
just
Exactly.
I'm just gonna be in back.
Yeah.
I'm not eager beaver about getting out and playing necessarily. I'm
Right.
actually more eager about seeing music,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird, but
No,
that's
I
definitely, yeah, like I would rather go see it and not even play. I don't know. I feel I'm okay with getting hired on for a gig with like other bands, but my own bands, I'm not sure I feel comfortable like making my guys try to sell tickets right now,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, and getting base paid off of that. So
Yeah.
my bands are like kind of on a hiatus.
Yeah.
I am doing a fundraiser show for my birthday, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
love
haven't
it.
announced it yet, but it's at Doghouse Music Studios. It's going to be a live stream.
Nice.
And so I'm going to probably have 3 bands. I haven't confirmed all of them yet. This is just very new, like within the week that
Yeah.
we worked this out.
Cool.
And then it's going to be a fundraiser for Jailbreak Husky Rescue, which
Well,
is,
oh, rad.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
So this hero of a woman, she goes around, her name's Brooklyn. She goes around to high kill states like Texas, Oklahoma, even California, and she'll go and rescue these huskies in shelters and bring them back to Colorado, which is a
Nice.
no-kill state.
Yeah.
And then, you know, get them out, foster them out, adopt them out, and it's amazing. And she does
Cool.
it single-handedly, like she does it all by herself.
That's
She
so
is literally a hero. And
yeah.
I just want to like give her as much money as I could possibly raise. So I'm gonna be blowing that up here soon. That'll be on. That's just like a little
Yes.
precursor right there. But
That's
that's
awesome.
happening. So I'm really
Very
excited about
cool.
that. I've got things. Things are coming.
Yeah.
So
What month is that? I'll try and make sure that this releases before then if I have any power.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's not for a while. So my birthday is April 23rd. So
Nice.
it's gonna be,
Around
you
that.
know, yeah, like month 2 months. 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
2 months.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really
So
excited
cool.
about that. And then until then, you know, I'm working and ghost tours is my,
Yes.
so that's something I found after I got laid off from my other paint studio because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so I was really looking, I found another job as a photographer, which is what I did in my 20s. I was a photographer in Crested Butte. So I don't know if you've been
Cool.
there before.
Yeah.
Really big
Oh,
ski
dude.
town.
Yeah. My best friend went to school in Gunnison.
Yeah, that's where I went to school too.
Nice.
Yeah, I went there
Gosh,
and
do you know
studied art.
Ryan Morrison?
I don't think so. Were they in the art department?
No.
It was like, you know, in college, like you do your general
Yeah.
when you're a
But then
freshman, then
very
you're
yeah.
mostly, yes, in
Yeah.
your building.
Yeah.
So unless they were music or art, it probably didn't, even though it was a very small school. It's only
Yeah.
like 2,000 people.
I know.
But
It's tiny out there.
it is, it's a
cut you off.
tiny,
You were
no,
so
you're
you
totally
were
fine.
painting? Wait, what were you? You were painting out there?
Yeah, painting.
Nice.
No, out there I was a photographer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I worked on the mountain and I mostly did it so I could snowboard all the time
Yeah.
and get my pass for free and all that.
Cool. So
So
you like,
yeah,
take pictures of families coming down the mountain and stuff?
absolutely.
Nice.
And like, races or
Yeah.
competitions, they do that skim pond thing where everybody
Yeah.
skis across. I did
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Yep.
yes, that's awesome.
And then
Nice.
I worked on the river at a raft guide company in the summer. So that was how I spent my 20s.
Perfect.
And so, okay, so fast forward to March. I found a job at a hospital taking pictures of newborn babies.
Cool.
And I was super excited to work it, but I just kept getting like, hey, do you know, because it was like total lockdown. You remember for like 6 to 8 weeks, like total lockdown. And so they were like, oh yeah, we'll get you ready to go. There's going to be a baby boom. It'll be, everybody thought the pandemic was going to be way less of a thing, way quicker. We all thought like, oh, it'll like sweep through and then it'll be fine, or obviously not the case. So basically I would check in weekly and they would keep saying like, oh, we can't have extra staff at hospitals. So eventually the job just kind of disintegrated because they kind of jumped the gun. Basically they were like, yeah, we shouldn't have even tried to get a position filled. We weren't, we didn't know. And so I was like, okay, so I let that go. And then I was looking for something that, I'm good at these weird jobs, like storytelling, entertaining.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And, also people are pretty hesitant to train right now. So, I was definitely like trying for restaurant jobs and stuff, but I was not surprised that I didn't hear anything back. they're like, oh yeah, this girl who's never worked a restaurant, except for like when she was 19 years old. Probably not, like nobody's looking to train someone during
Yeah,
pandemic
especially when they
like
like
that.
cut most of their staff already, like,
Exactly. So it was really tough. I mean, people are still having a hard time finding jobs and stuff.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I found ghost tours on Indeed, and I was like, oh, well, that's cool because it's outside. It's 100% outdoors.
Yeah.
We have had 0 outbreaks at all, so it's very
Oh,
COVID
cool.
friendly.
Yeah.
Everyone's social distance. Everybody's wearing a mask. So we have not gotten shut down like basically the whole time. I think we did for a little bit in November because the curfew got moved around, and we were like shuffling around when we were
Yeah.
going to do our tours and stuff because they
Yeah.
started at 8 and then the curfew was at 8. So we were like, okay. So I didn't work for most of November, but I've been doing the ghost tour thing for months now, like 6 months
Awesome.
now. And it's awesome. It's so much fun. And, it's basically like you memorize the history of these
Yeah.
buildings and the little paranormal little spin on it. If you believe in that stuff is really cool, but mostly it's historical.
Oh yeah, and that's awesome anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
and
it's
it's
really cool to
exactly,
learn the history, and
exactly.
I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion either way on the subject of the paranormal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who am I to tell people that they've never had that experience? You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Oh,
just
have you
haven't.
seen it's on Netflix. It's called like Surviving Death or something like that.
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my radar.
So, yep. So that goes into some really interesting things of like
Yeah.
reincarnation and all these weird, paranormal and what happens when you almost die and stuff. And they have like people who are at the very tippy top of their like most terminal degree and they're total like triple PhDs, like literally the smartest people ever.
Yeah.
And they just get to a point where they reach a ceiling and they're like, we don't know, we can't explain that. Like
No
I
idea.
don't, well, you know?
And it happens with a lot of the after death experiences or whatever are very similar, right? Like they
Yes.
had
Yes.
similar experiences, and that speaks to like, is there something beyond that? You know what I mean? And like, I think so. I don't think that we could fathom whatever is going to happen after we die, but
For sure. I
it's
mean,
not.
I already know we are living in a dimensional world that we don't even know. There are definitely dimensions that are happening around us that we cannot see. We either don't have the capacity to acknowledge because our brains are maybe, we only have access to like up to 10% of our
Yeah.
brains. Mostly
Well,
it's 8%.
even our pets have different senses than we do, right? Like they can smell
Exactly.
different things than we can. They can see different things than we can. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yep.
okay,
Manta
so if
ray
that's the
shrimp.
case.
Yeah, no, for real. Manta ray shrimp, they can see, I think it was like 32 times the color spectrum that we can see.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, they have the crazy. I mean, so even within our world, there are
Yeah,
creatures who can see dimensions that we cannot see.
right.
So I leave a lot of space for that, and
Yeah.
I honor that. However, I am very science driven. That's
Yeah.
so I like to talk myself out of stuff, but mostly people who believe in that have had an experience that they
Yeah.
cannot explain,
Right.
in a scientific, hard world. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of where they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to hang my hat on that because,
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
through it and I can't explain
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. And I've never had that
So,
experience, but I could totally see. Like I've listened to
right.
people who are like, it was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
very stressed out about it or whatever. Whatever the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a really really fun thing, like a distraction and goals, memorizing all the history and stuff. And then once I memorize the history, I've got it down, I actually like to like look around a little more and see what else I can find. And it's really cool. I mean, you can
Yeah.
find some really cool stuff on
Absolutely.
like public records
Yeah.
and if anyone does the genetic like 23andMe kind of stuff, I mean, you can plug in your own information and come up with a lot of really cool stuff and find, I mean, crazy stuff.
Yeah. That's so
So,
neat. I always wanted to do that. I haven't yet, but it just
yeah,
like history and all that is very interesting to me
me
now.
too.
When I was a kid, I was like, this sucks. Like
Yeah, me too.
I was bad at all of it because it was like a lot of memorizing dates, which like
Yep.
my brain just you know, like I have a calendar, right? I
Yep.
can't
Yep.
memorize dates. I have to write. It's like I would not call myself dyslexic in the least, but with numbers, it happens a lot where I get them turned around, you know, like
Oh yeah.
I don't even think that would be classified necessarily as dyslexia, but regardless, that I trying to keep those in my head, they always flop, you know, like
Yep.
never
Yep.
keep them straight. So,
And
uh,
I still sometimes I'm like, well, I forgot what date that was. Or, you know, you forget first names.
let
They'll
me
just kind of
Google
like
it.
fall out of your head. Yeah, I do. I totally jump on Google real quick.
Yeah,
I just want to give you guys the proper information, you
yeah,
know? But Denver has a very dark history.
yeah.
So,
Well,
well, most of America has a very dark history,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
But Denver in particular was very brutal, and there was a lot of scandal related to the gold and silver rush and
Yeah.
wealth, you know, inequality stuff. And
Mhm.
I mean, man, the price fell out of silver and gold in like 1893. So like everything bombed
Yeah,
out. I mean, it's just very interesting to see how that affected us even now. I mean, it still affects us,
absolutely. I
you
mean,
know?
I would imagine anyway. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it does. Like I feel like Colorado is this thing that should be so like big and monumental, but it's had so many like I don't know, restarts or whatever that like it's just not what it could be. I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally. And honestly, it's funny because if you talk to anyone who's been here since, so like, I guess in the 70s and the early 80s, there was it was like everybody wanted to go to Colorado. So it was the second, you know, population boom after people came over for the gold rush stuff.
Mhm.
And they honestly thought, you know, infrastructure wise and everything, they thought it'd always be like Idaho. Like no one would ever want to come to
Yeah.
Colorado. No one's ever going to care about Colorado. And now it's like this, we're in our third big, you know, I
Yeah.
think people moving here has dwindled in the last, you know, 4 years, but for a while there, it was a thing, like
I could
five,
tell you
6.
exactly when it was 2013 and they made it
Mm-hmm.
legal.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And
We
people like
tourism.
me from Indiana are like, yes.
Oh, dude. And it's great. Honestly, people, I mean, of course, like being silly and complaining about traffic or all that
It
stuff, but I'm
sucks, but
telling
it's the
you,
best state. Like it,
no, it is literally the best state. And I absolutely love it because I grew up here. I grew up in Littleton. And
nice.
so when I was growing up, it was very Republican,
Yeah.
very racist. Like
Yeah.
I grew up
It
Jewish
still
and
is.
oh, it still is. If you go anywhere outside of like the city bubbles, but you know, the mountains are better and
Yeah.
Denver's progressive. Idealistic ways I kind of outbalances it, which is really nice. But
Absolutely.
I love having so many people because it just has changed what people are exposed to, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like, people are
It's so,
exposed to people from every
yeah.
circumstance, and that's so wonderful. Like melting pot is what's up,
Yes,
you
I
know.
agree. And that's not to
So
lose culture, it's to like teach each other our culture and then dance together.
exactly. And then we can combine cultures and
Yeah,
make the greatest like society ever. I mean, that's the whole
exactly.
point, right?
Exactly.
Is to honor that stuff. And so it's been really nice. And obviously, as a musician and artist, like I literally rely on the culture and people
Yeah,
wanting to go out and see these things. And
yeah,
so yeah, so I absolutely love it. I mean, yeah, we joke about the traffic and we joke about, you know, like, yeah,
yeah.
Colorado sucks, don't move here, but we love it. Yeah, yeah. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, and we will adjust and it won't be uncomfortable forever. It did like I was part of the problem. I moved here because I was born in Indiana. What the fuck do you do? Like you don't stay there. You don't stay there, right? Like people do stay there, right? They do. And no offense to whoever stays.
Yeah, no, my boyfriend's from Iowa and he's basically in the same boat.
I
Yeah.
just could not anymore
Yep.
because it was super
Yep.
Republican, but also there's nothing to do and the weather's bad.
Right. That's basically what he says. Like literally in a nutshell, that's exactly what he says. So I totally get it. And yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I appreciate and there's room enough for all of us, you know, there
Absolutely.
really is, especially in the music scene. There's enough room for everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone gets to get theirs.
not a competition.
Here,
People.
yeah, literally, it's not. Everybody, I mean, I love when my friends are just crushing it. It just makes me so,
Yeah,
I just
Yeah.
sitting here like beaming from behind my phone, just watching my friends like absolutely destroy their goals. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun. I love it.
I think
So
that's a good note to end on. Like,
yeah, it's
keep
just how much
doing
I love
great,
it. Yep.
friends,
This
and
is great. I think we
yeah.
covered everything too
So yeah,
without even trying. All your
exactly.
T's,
That's
man.
the goal. That is always the goal. Sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be more of a host than this. But usually,
No,
okay,
that was great.
this is what I'm aiming for. I don't want to be a host. I just want to have a cool conversation with a person.
I agree. And I want to know more about you too. So like I
Yeah.
thought this was so much fun.
Well, we should meet up again sometime. I've got some
Definitely.
spin-offs happening and stuff too, so we could do group convos and shit.
Oh,
Really
I love it.
fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
It's so good to
same.
meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so nice to meet you too. I really love being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.